There's all this talk about taxation now because the acting president signed an executive order only the other day. And, well, more people are going to start paying. In fact, every person who has an income is supposed to be paying taxes. That's what this is all about. We have with us in the studio a chartered accountant, Mr. Charles Asemokai. Good morning.
Good morning.
We also have a business expert, Mr. Vincent.
Good morning.
Igbe.
Yes.
Good. And they are going to tell us all about taxes and taxation and stuff like that. But I raised an issue before we came on air, which I'm going to put to you, sir. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And I say that in respect of those who pay taxes and watch them. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to say them and us. Watch them steal the money. Governors have Swiss bank accounts, they have houses in New York, houses in the UK, and monies are found in flats in Ikoyi, huge amounts of money. So those who don't pay tax are going to say, thank God I didn't pay. Look what is happening to the tax that is paid. It's all being stolen. So which comes first?
Taxation, let me start from there, is a compulsory levy or charge on
responsibility
of the citizen of the country.
Yeah.
Well, we can't hide away from what is happening in the society. Yes. We talked about that is one of the challenges we have in tax, as in taxation. That is the reason why people don't pay tax. It's a challenge. You know, looking at corruption. That is it. You know, but notwithstanding, we can't continue like this, because if you go to a developed world, developed countries, taxes or the taxes paid are put to use and people see it, and
there lies the difference.
So
there exactly lies the difference.
So people willingly pay taxes, but we have it might not be a perfect, but near to what Nigerians are expecting. As an example, we have Lagos State. You know, there was a time you will see a signal or a signboard said taxpayers' money at work. You know, so people see what the government or Lagos State does with their taxes, and they were like a voluntary, you know, willingness to pay tax. Well, we can't say because of the corruption or what is happening in the society, or people money being stashed in Ikoyi, or money being floated abroad. You know, that we should, you know, continue the way, you know, it is. So for me, I think the reforms, the Nigeria tax system is going through a reform. Now, when we have a system in place where every person is captured, where your income or your assets and everything is seen by all, then you will be able to, you know, hold people accountable for, you know, for not paying taxes.
How is it that the tax net is so small? There's so few Nigerians paying taxes, and we seem to have just accepted it, and it's been going on for yonks. Why are we suddenly waking up now?
Well, I mean, we really don't have any choice. Countries evolve, populations evolve, and the last 2 years of a government that has promised change has now faced challenges in implementing that change, primarily because the government revenues that come from oil are not necessarily growing. If you're the acting president and you look at the data available to you, over the last half year, we've already seen a decline in oil prices of somewhere around, what, 15%. And depending on which time in January you look at, some people will tell you 20%. But underlying that data is something much more worrying, which is the fact that we're seeing the largest number of active wells in the shale sector now, almost 6,000 active rigs. You know, coupled with the fact that horizontal drilling or whatever I was looking at into old wells can lead to oversupply of oil. That basically points to the fact that we're going to see declining oil price. So if you're going to see declining oil price, you now need to look at how are you going to diversify your income base. One of the easiest places to look at is your tax base. And you don't need to look very far. If you look to our right and look at like Cameroon, your tax to GDP ratio is somewhere around 18%, thereabouts. If you look to Benin Republic, it's somewhere around 15%. And the moment you come into modern Nigeria, which is more than the two countries combined, you are 6.1% or thereabouts. So it's a very easy number to look at. And the other thing you need to, think about when you look at these numbers is that if we're talking about only 14 million people paying taxes out of a possible 69 million, just do the adjustment to somewhere around the rest of the emerging economies, which we say the average for the emerging economies tax to GDP ratio is somewhere around 20%. And what you have there is about 18 trillion naira in earnings, potentially, which is what, more than 2 times your current budget. And it makes a lot of sense, because for democracy to function, citizen action needs to back the democracy. And people who don't pay taxes are not invested in their countries. And so it's imperative now that, look, we cannot afford the recession to continue, more companies to fold, and joblessness to continue, given the security challenges that we currently face. For government to continue to provide, the kind of service that we need to continue to create an investable environment, we need to raise our income. Is government
providing any service? Let's look at that. Is government providing any service?
Absolutely.
What has your government done for you?
I'll tell you what. My father was a professor, and I'm a product of the Nigerian education system. I just came back a few weeks ago from speaking in Stanford at the Africa Business Forum. I've had the opportunity to speak in Cambridge and Harvard. And I was educated in Nigeria, public education. I went to St. Rumba's College in Jos, which was a public education. I went to University of Jos. I'm a graduate of geology and mining, which is public education, which is primarily paid by tax money.